One thing I love about both association football and footballs in general as a kind of sport is their sheer beautiful quirkiness. Today, English professional football is a game of million-dollar salaries, long-entrenched loyalties, and the epitome of professional sport. But it wasn't always like this. Back in the early days of the English Football Association, many teams were simply old groups of school lads, like the Old Etonians, but one particular group of old school lads from actually public schools who didn't have a particular home with any particular public school alumni association were known as the Wanderers, and representing the best of London's public schools and their soccer talent. They came together to both help found the Football Association and win the very first FA Cup in 1872. Their early members included C.W. Alcorn, described as the father of modern sport, Arthur Kinnard, described as the greatest football player of his day, and Morton Betts, who scored the very first goal in an FA Cup final, and in fact the only goal scored in that entire game. They won the FA Cup from 1876 to 1878, one of only two three-peats in FA Cup history, and continued to be a force in English football, despite never having a permanent home until their dissolution in 1879. This is not the only example of such quirkiness. In Brazil, professional football teams were typically just associated with an old gym, and in the case of Las Palmeiras and the Corinthians, were simply two old gyms that both happened to organize football teams. And among American football, too, this of course being gridiron football, not association football, the Pottsville Maroons, from a little coal mining town in Pennsylvania, managed to win an NFL championship in 1925. And the Green Bay Packers, similarly representing a small, out-of-the-way area, continue to represent a small trace of this quirkiness in the modern football era. Thank you so much for watching. This is going to be part of a 3-part series on the quirky world of English football. And the next in our series will be the wonderful subject of Craven Cottage, an old hunting lodge of the royal family that is now a great football stadium.